we finally have our first glimpse into proper gameplay footage for Space Marine 2. Now, I know some of you have been saying it was a very, very short trailer, but for what we got to see in that shortness of the trailer seemed absolutely epic. And in this video, what I'm going to be doing is breaking down that footage, going through it all with a fine tooth comb and looking for things that we all may have missed. So let's jump in and let's get purging. Now, the first shot we have on the trailer is this one. It opens up to the world at war, and it's an absolutely beautiful shot. You can see that bastion in the middle coming under Tyranid assault. You can actually see some Imperial Guard forces as well if you look very, very closely. If you look to the top left of the image, you can see 3 Valkyries who are making some type of attack run. They're probably taking troops somewhere. Maybe they're escorting a high commander somewhere to get out of all the action because the Tyranids are breaching this part of the hive. One thing I get from this is that the world itself is going to be a living world that is constantly in a state of war. Something that we had in Space Marine 1, they tried to achieve this, but I think they really missed the mark. Like, you came across orcs here and there and you fought them, but with this one, it seems like when we're going to be playing in this world, there's actually stuff happening all around us. You're going to be seeing those Imperial Guard flyers, you're going to be seeing Tyranids and, you know, other type of weapons, troopers and everything like that fighting in the distance, which for me makes the game feel more live and adds to that epic experience of playing it. We move on to the money shot of Titus, of course, and he looks beautiful. He is a lieutenant. There's some debate if he's going to be a captain or lieutenant. He had the rank of captain, then he was taken away by the Inquisition in the original game, and now he's back as a lieutenant. He's got his chains wrapped around his arms because the Black Templars were the ones that actually escorted him away. Has he learnt some tricks being with the Black Templars to be a true son of Rogel Dawn? I can't blame him on that front. But the really big reveal in this shot is actually behind Titus. To the left of him, you can actually see a Gravis Marine. Yes, that is a Gravis Marine right there. It's a bit blur, but the figure of it and the iron halo, whatever you want to call it, actually makes out to be a Gravis Marine. So confirmation that we are going to see Gravis armor in this game. Fingers crossed that we can actually play as a Gravis Marine, because there's nothing more that I want to do than play as a big chunky boy storming forward and purging everyone in front of me. And the next shot we get is this, and it seems to be a place of worship for the Imperium. The reason I say that is because we've got this glorious bell to summon you to bow before the Emperor. We've got the ornate statues and the architecture. You've got the Imperial Aquila stamped on the floor. There's like all carpets and marbles and stuff down the steps. It looks absolutely fantastic, and a place of like high worship. Somewhere where, you know, you go, you bow, and it's dedicated to the glory of the Imperium, to the glory of the Emperor of mankind. One of the cool things about this is that it's actually untouched. You know, the Tyranids are not there, the artillery from the Imperial Guard hasn't ruined it or anything like that. It looks like a nice place to go on this world. And if I zoom in just right here, just in that corner bit, that statue right there, if you look closely, that right there is your mum. And now we start getting the money shots, because we get confirmation we can once again take the glorious Thunderhammer with Titus in Space Marine 2. Now, there's so many things going on with this shot. Yes, we are in the middle of a battle. You can see Titus with his Thunderhammer. He's doing the same attack that you could do in Space Marine 1, where you could double tap F and do a stun hit, which basically hits the floor and stuns all the enemies around you. The enemies that we actually see in this, we see warriors, and I think it's Hormagaunts, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sorry, Tyranid players, if I've absolutely ruined it. Termagaunts or Hormagaunts in there, but it looks like they've actually taken over some type of Imperial defenses. Right in front of Titus, where that explosion is, it looks like some type of artillery equipment, like a basilisk. You can see some flames further off into the distance, which looks like, you know, tanks burning and stuff like that. But the actual environment that we're in doesn't seem to be in that like hive city or whatever we're fighting in. This seems to be like outside of the walls in like a jungly, rocky area. So it seems that we're actually going to venture from the city, maybe go into the heart of the Tyranid swarm itself to try and kill it and neutralize some big enemies. We get another beautiful shot of the actual environments that we're going to be playing in. This one, you can actually see a little bit more evidence of the Imperial forces. You see some crates and stuff. You can actually see some guardsmen up on the bridges looking at Titus as he's walking to them. There's some to the bottom left as well. Maybe this is a staging area where they've actually combated the Tyranid forces and they've destroyed them and they're moving forward in their press against this new Xenos throw. There's also an Imperial tank in the bottom right corner. This is the anti-air tank. Points to anyone in chat who gets the name of that right. Now, this next shot is confirmation that we will be getting the melter gun as well. Now, this next shot is confirmation that we will be getting some new tools of the Primaris as well. This is the melter gun from the Eradicators. Yes, you can just see it, the way he's holding it at the top with his little handle and stuff like that, the way it's firing. It seems to be like a wave type of effect, like a big blast of heat energy going forward in a big bubble, absolutely evaporating and burning anything alive in front of it. This is what I want to see from these type of games. I want to get the visual confirmation on how these weapons work, how, Games Workshop sees how they work, because at the end of the day, all this gets okayed from Games Workshop. So to see stuff like this, it looks absolutely epic. One thing to actually make a note of is that Titus here is not wearing Gravis armor. It looks like he's wearing the standard Mark 10 armor. The reason I mention this is that this weapon is normally found, well, it is only found being wielded by Eradicators who wear that Mark 10 Gravis armor. So it's kind of confirmation in this game now that even though certain weapons are attached to certain things on the tabletop, they're not always going to be attached to the armor elements in the game as well. Now, this next shot in the trailer is probably one of my favorite shots because it shows you the epic scale that this game is doing. You can see that great footpath that leads into wherever it's leading. It looks like the grand central of this spire, or of this world, should I say, is being absolutely swarmed by Tyranids. They're all making their way up. They're like ants from this distance, but they're not ants. They're actually, massive killer bugs that will rip you apart in seconds. You can see all the guns on the wall, the statues, the refinery elements all making their way up the walls. Just the absolute sheer ruin and devastation this war is taking its toll on this world. I absolutely bloody love it. The next couple of shots show off the detail of the enemies that we're going to be playing against. Of course, the one in the background now is a warrior, and the other one is the Hormagon brood. But the detail in these enemies is just beautiful. The game visually looks like it's going to be probably one of the most stunning games we've got in the Warhammer 40,000 setting, and that's comparing it to games like Deathwing, Necromunda that we've played, and of course the recently released Darktide. These are all visually stunning games, but from what I'm seeing from this trailer, and of course this is alpha footage, so it is subject to change, this seems to be taking the crown when it comes to looking absolutely beautiful. And for those people who are worried about will this game actually be like the first one in terms of violence, blood, gore, just absolute carnage, then this should settle your mind. This is an absolutely brutal bit of the trailer. This is Titus running into a swarm. There's a warrior in there. There's the Hormagons in there. He's just running in with his chainsword and literally ripping them all apart. This is what we got with Space Marine 1 with the Orcs. We used to charge into like the big hordes of them and just absolutely brutalize them. The only thing that I haven't seen so far is like executions. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that is something that this game is going to have, because that was one of the funnest parts of playing Space Marine 1. And then we get this shot showing the environmental damage and how it affects the mission in front of you. This scene is when this bell literally falls through all these bridges, just taking out everything. And of course, you've watched the trailer. If you just go back and watch it. Look at the detail of all the particle effects, everything like that. I'm telling you, this game is going to be stunning. It really, really, really is. I just cannot wait to get my hands on it, just to walk around and look at the walls. As a Son of Dawn, I love looking at walls. And then we get the confirmation that we've all been waiting for. Jump Pack Primaris Marines. Yes, I'm calling it right now. This is confirmation of the new Jump Assault Marines that we're going to be getting not only for this game, as you can see here, but also for the tabletop that is rumoured to be coming in 10th edition against, you guessed it, a Tyranid force to launch 10th edition. I think Games Workshop and Saber Interactive and Focus are putting it on a plate right in front of us to tease us about future models that are coming on the tabletop. And for me, it looks great. Actually, in this scene, he's holding a bolter and he jumps up in the air and he starts shooting it at one of these warriors up here as well. I don't know if that's confirmation that we're going to be getting stuff like that on the tabletop. Are they going to be melee? Are they going to be ranged? I'm not too sure, but that is definitely a brand new model that is being done for the purpose, not only for this game, but for the tabletop as well. Then we get another shot of an absolutely beautiful environmental scene of it just being ripped apart by fire, explosions. I don't know if this is the Tyranids doing this or this is the Imperial Guard calling shells down on themselves. The reason I say on themselves is because if you look right at the bottom of the image where the fire starts, you can see some guardsmen or some troopers standing there, and you know, I don't think they'd sacrifice themselves like that. Maybe they would. They are the Imperial Guard. They are the hammer and the anvil of the Imperial forces. So yeah, it's awesome. It looks great. Also, there's some water effects in this as well. If you actually look to the left and the right of Titus, those are actually fountains. I don't think I've ever seen a 40k fountain before. Maybe this is the first time that we're getting 40k fountains in Warhammer 40,000. What a time to be alive. Now, this next shot, I'm actually going to need your help because I have absolutely no idea what that huge thing is in the background. Yes, you can see the warriors, you can see the Hormagaunts trying to stop Titus potentially from reaching it, but what is it? Is that some kind of like place where it makes Tyranids and starts like ripping apart the environment and starts producing its own spores and all that kind of weird stuff that happens with the Nids? And what is that? Please, if someone can help me out in the comments. I've been looking at this now. I'm thinking, what the hell could this be? We get more confirmation of weapons we can use in the game. This time it confirms the power sword is definitely going to be in the game. Again, he's fighting a warrior, which appears to be in some type of mechanical center, Mechanicus center. You can see all the candles in the background, all the big structures, which is definitely Mechanicus-esque. At the top left, you can actually see something that is a cog. So this is why I'm thinking maybe this is kind of like a generator of some sort, which powers the entire world, gives it its orbital batteries and that kind of, you know, amazing stuff that you would expect. And then there's this shot, which I think, you know what, I'm going to cry because this is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. This is the Imperial Guard joining Titus as he charges into waves upon waves upon waves of Tyranids. You can see the guard with their, you know, their las guns. You can see the bastions in the background. You can see Titus opening up with his gun as well. This is just a beautiful... Look at all the explosions in the background. This is what I'm on about a living world, about a world where the war is around you and it's just not you in this situation. It's actually happening around you and you get to live in the battle. You are not the battle. You get to live inside of this epic battle. And then this is the final shot we get in the trailer with Titus standing there. All the Nids are looking at him. You can see some of the scattered wrecks of the Imperial Guard in the background. Obviously, some stuff has been overtaken. The Guard are getting pushed back. It seems like there's an orbital bombardment or some type of airstrike happening with all the missiles raining down, all the fire being exploded in the background. But Titus is there with his thunder hammer in hand, waiting for the force to come at me. Come at me and meet thy wrath. Mate, I cannot wait for this game. It looks absolutely bloody incredible. I've said that like 10 times on this video. I'm sorry if I'm like an echo in a cave, but it really does. It looks absolutely stunning, and I just want to get it. I just want to play with it. I want to caress it, stroke it, tell it I love it, give it everything in the world. This is how long I've been waiting for Space Marine 2. My only letdown, and I say letdown not in as like I'm let down, is that we didn't get to see some multiplayer aspect of this game, because for me, I think that's where the game is going to survive. Multiplayer always makes games survive. So hopefully the next time we get to see some footage, it will be of the multiplayer side of this game. Anyway, chap who knows, that's enough waffling from me. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching this breakdown. If I've missed anything, please put it down below in the comments section. I'd love to get your thoughts and feedback on this. Are you hyped? Are you unhyped? Tell me what you feel. Post it down below and we can have a nice little talk down there as we always do. See you now. Have a great day and bye-bye.